Today, we're looking at the promised return of our King. The Lord can stir up the spirit of rulers, those who we do not expect to do good. We must continue to pray corporately and often for God to do for us what He has done throughout the ages, using the least of men and the ungodly to deliver a nation. We need to pray and ask God to intervene and bring His peace to a troubled land. We want to see rulers and people with power playing an important role in the proclamation of the gospel of Jesus Christ across the whole world. We want to see biblical truths taught in our school that promotes the beauty of marriage, that encourages loving one another, that seeks to raise the profile of others rather than themselves. We want to see a society that publicly declares with shameless audacity that Jesus Christ is Lord and is the only way to true happiness that goes beyond the span of a human life. Like monuments, we want to see Jesus raised up across the whole land, but that bears no semblance to a tortured past, but points the way to a future where all men and women created in His own image will live as brothers and sisters in perfect harmony. We want to see a time where love abounds and is no longer maligned, because the world now recognizes that Jesus is love. We want to see a time of continuous revelry and jubilation at the end of the war of all wars. Are we capable of establishing such a kingdom? Is it in man's nature to establish a peace that surpasses all understanding, with a far-reaching arm that embraces the whole human race? Can we, as conduits for good and evil, truly build a society that is utopian in all facets of human nature, such as morality and justice? Can the foundations of a building stand without the correct mixture of concrete? In the same way, no matter how much good deeds and good intentions we pour into our society, the inherent nature, sinful nature of man prohibits the exact amount of righteousness, the exact amount of love, and the exact amount of holiness required to build a kingdom that will stand forever, where love is law. There can be no perfect love in the world where war still rages. Both can never coexist. Peace cannot be declared in one side of the world while the other side is covered in disharmony. A music that is calm and tranquil has to be accompanied by instruments such as chimes, flutes, harps, and played with a certain tempo. But the moment we introduce a clashing cymbal, a faster tempo, then there is disharmony. Our very nature seeks both. But for peace to prevail, our nature must be in perfect harmony with Christ, who is perfect in love and is the Prince of Peace. For such a perfect union to be formed, the old garments we wear has to be removed. We have to adorn ourselves as a bride in waiting, awaiting the ceremony where we are made one with perfection. The return of our King will end the war of all wars, the war that has been waged against all of humanity, irrespective of their differences and geography. A war where everything was permissible, covert and blatant in nature. Its aim was to unclothe our righteousness that is in Jesus Christ, to dethrone our authority that is in Jesus Christ, and to cajole us into forfeiting a life that was created to live forever for a life that is fleeting, without any promise of a better one to come. When our King returns, the war of all wars will end, and the ceremony of all ceremonies will begin. This breathtaking ceremony, it's a wedding feast that was promised by Jesus before he left the earth. Jesus told his disciples at the Last Supper, "I will not drink of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." That is a promise to us that we too will share this cup of friendship and union with Jesus in his Father's house. Why was this ritual so important? And what is the connotation to a wedding feast? Every Galilean would have known the customs that initiated a wedding ceremony. The bridegroom offers his bride a cup of wine to drink in front of many witnesses, a public declaration of that amazing covenant that was about to be made. It is the choice of the bride whether to accept this new life by drinking from the same cup. When she does, there is excitement, joy, and anticipation for the next meeting. It will be a ceremony held at the father of the groom's house, where the bride and the groom will drink from the same cup once more, the two finally becoming one. A perfect harmony, a union that strips the shackles and constraints of a mortal life. No longer will you wrestle with your conscience, fluctuating between what is right and what is wrong. No longer will you question yourself, doubt yourself, and belittle yourself. How could you? Our minds will no longer have the capacity or the inclination to dwell in such things. On a wedding day, the bride is radiant, clothed in beauty, her mind set on the man she is going to spend her life with. The groom is overjoyed at seeing his bride because he had to wait, not knowing when his father will say, "Son, go get your bride." So the son is light-footed as he comes down from the clouds to claim his long-awaited bride. The son makes the ceremony exclusive for his bride and rejoices not at the state he has found the earth, but at the state of his bride, who also was unaware of the day the ceremony would take place, but never went to bed without her bridal gown on. Always kept her oil refilled, knowing that the son would return like a thief in the night for those unprepared. She was ready with a lighted candle in the midnight hours when her beloved called her name. Now she goes to meet her groom in his father's house, where the bridegroom has spent a time preparing the rooms that will accommodate a life that will be lived in perfect harmony and perfect love forever. We are the bride. Jesus is the groom, and our eternal home is in his Father's house. It is written, "Let us rejoice and exult and give him the glory. For the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. It was granted her to clothe herself with fine linen, bright and pure. For the linen is the righteous deeds of the saints." Amen. God bless you all.